Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this week's Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast. This week we've got all our usual features. News is back as usual. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Premiership and Championship games that happened this weekend, along with Scotland's exciting stroke unexciting campaign last week and the changes that have rung from that. And we've also got a little bit of a quiz this week. Has to do with FIFA stats. You'll know me, I'm a bit of a FIFA quiz magnet. We're running out of ideas here on the show. It's been a long time, episode 33 now. We're struggling to keep it fresh. But anyway, joining me on this week's candlelit romantic loving is it's only the two of us tonight, John.
Oh, it's a sad day.
So it's the brown man himself, John Brown. Hello. How are you doing tonight, John?
I'm not bad.
Good. Glad to be back on the podcast. We've had a wee break.
We have. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. I hope you're enjoying hearing our dulcet tones again, and thank you very much for putting up with us for however long you do.
True.
So anyway, I think let's get on. So first things first, we'll start with a little bit of news this week. And I think the biggest news this week was Hamilton, not so academical perhaps, have made a little bit of a blunder in the business department.
Just a little.
Just the entire club's budget for rumours swirling around. They've been sadly hit by a spate of fraud. This has actually been quite common in the SFA of recent times. With, I think, prize money's been paid out to
Rangers.
Well, I didn't. We won't get into that, of course. Stripping of titles and such. So anyway, but it looks like Hamilton themselves have lost in the region of £800,000 to £900,000, which is quite an astronomical amount. I don't know what advert David Templeton's clicked on while he's been using the club account to watch whatever he's been watching. But
who knows?
Certainly quite a big mistake.
It is. I want to know where Hamilton got £800,000.
I know.
Lying in a bank account.
One bank account. It's,
yeah.
These clubs, I can imagine they're fairly fluid in terms of, money comes in, it goes straight back out in the form of wages to the players, to the equipment and stuff. So, and I know a lot of clubs, are usually have quite large negative bank accounts. So,
exactly.
It's interesting, but, and people did laugh and joke about it at the time, but it's pretty devastating to the poor people that...
Well, that's a painful one for Hamilton. You cannot deny that. Who knows what they were thinking, though?
I don't know. Other clubs, I think Hearts were hit for a much smaller sum of money. I think other clubs were targeted in the same light, but haven't risen to the bait.
Yep.
So, just a wee bit of nous in situations like those, but they seem to be taking it in a good light. The announcer at the weekend playing Money, Money, Money by ABBA just before kick-off. So, if you don't cry, you laugh.
Indeed.
Is that the way around that goes?
Yeah, no.
So, I mean, at least some people in the club are in good spirits, but I know that would certainly cripple our local club.
Pretty much. I do think they'll get it back. They'll have some form of insurance that will cover such things, you would imagine, if they're even remotely prudent.
Hopefully. I think that's the only reason they're still going right now.
Yeah, they've been propped up by soft loans, I think, from the directors.
And I know, credit card companies and things are usually quite good about chasing sums of money you've spent with them. So you would have thought £800,000 might have been quite a priority.
Who have they signed,
Well, it's bizarre. It's so much money. I've never heard of a fraudulent sum of money like that. I don't know about yourself being involved in the business world. But,
it's quite unique being a football club in particular and the sum of money it is.
Yeah.
I mean, surely that'll be fairly easy to track, I would have thought.
You would have thought. I mean, I don't know. I'm not some international mogul, but we keep our fingers crossed. But
a little working fraud squad. That's it.
Yeah, maybe change your passwords there, guys.
Aye.
Maybe change your passwords. Also out in the last few weeks, the new FIFA 18 game. John, have you been playing much of that?
Well, the disc is still intact, so
that's good.
A good start.
Ironically, I actually started my career mode with Hamilton Academical.
Oh yeah.
So I'm waiting.
That's where the money's made.
I'm waiting for the realistic simulation of minus £800,000 due to a fraudulent error to come through in the next few weeks. Which would help a lot to replace half the team they've got there. But no, are you big into the Ultimate Team at the moment then, John?
Been pretty good. The addition of squad battles, single player, it's quite
so
good.
You don't have to play real players anymore.
Indeed.
You can hide away.
Pretty much. I can play my 4 games and then not be too angry.
Yeah. I know my brother's big into the offline as well. I do worry they might kind of start devaluing it as more and more people play offline instead of online, which is I think where they want more people to be and where the challenge.
I think that's what encourages people to spend money as well, buying coins and whatnot. But it's a good addition, and I do think the weekend league it takes away from the divisions, in my opinion. But at the same time, the weekend league is probably still one of the biggest.
Well, for those that are successful in the weekend league, I mean, will they even play divisions anymore? I don't
know. If you're good, get into the division league, into the weekend league within a day.
Have you ever got into the weekend league?
Quarterfinals.
That's decent. Oh, the tournament?
Yeah.
Alright, so you've never made the actual... Right, okay. I was like, well done. Nah, you've never made the actual...
Let's be serious here, like...
Yeah. But no, I mean, for me, I haven't bought the game yet. Obviously, I got a new Wii Nintendo Switch the other week. Fantastic device. Was going to buy FIFA for that, but it's like... It's old, it's not got all the career mode features. And I'm a career mode player, first and foremost. I like the grind of scouting new players and
all that fun stuff.
Creating that atmosphere. Instead of I did have a period with Ultimate Team, but I don't have the time, the effort, the stress available to and hence why smashing your disc last year, I suppose.
No, I didn't smash it. It was just a sign of defeat and had a glorious snap.
Right. Well, we'll keep you guys updated. Are you using any Scottish players at all?
Nah, I don't really.
A few interesting ones. Inform Adam Rooney, 77.
I actually get off topic a little bit. I didn't realise Ross McCormack was playing for Melbourne City.
Was he?
Because that came up. I was watching the Melbourne Derby on Saturday morning, but then went to do the Sydney Challenge for Del Piero's.
Right.
I looked like an easy pack, and he's like a 66 rated. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago? I remember him being like 84 team of the year.
Yeah, he got like a gold like team of the season card or something.
It was like a blue 84 rated because I had him and Griffiths up front.
That's
like him down to 66, I'm sure.
So maybe they've just recognised he's going on the vacation.
He looked fat.
Did he? You sure it's the same guy?
Oh yeah, it's him for sure.
That's weird. I hadn't even heard about that.
Nah.
I hadn't even heard about that. So no, that's bizarre. And then Carrie Arneson getting a 78 in form, making him the best player in the Scottish Premiership currently.
Quite funny. Hardly gets a game.
Well, he did at the weekend after his exploits for Iceland, sending them to the World Cup, the smallest nation ever to do so. So well done there, Carrie Arneson. Carry on, as they say.
Carry on, Arneson.
Nobody ever says that. Anywho, our next piece of news. Sam Allardyce has ruled himself out of the Scotland job.
Oh no.
I know. Pretty pig-headed of him. Anyway, that's the last I'll say about that. Ray McKinnon is looking for some more company at Dundee United in the form of younger brother Francois Company, stalwart of the Belgian second division.
I thought they would have learned their lesson about signing siblings after Rodney Schneider.
Well, there's been a few interesting ones in Scotland over the years. I think we had Matthias Pogba.
One of the rubbish Pogba.
Yeah, there's 3 Pogbas.
There's 3 Pogbas. He was the worst.
2 are good. One of them isn't. We had him.
He was pretty bad. Rodney Schneider, as I said.
Inverness have Seedorf, don't they?
Yeah, they had a Seedorf.
Is he gone now?
Probably.
I don't know.
Falkirk had a Pele at one point.
No relation to.
No, I think he came from Cape Verde.
Yes. And we also had Schmeichel, of course.
Oh yeah.
Not a brother per se, but the son of.
But Peter was at a game, so that's Tim Krul. I would just bring him off.
No, he's relation to nobody. What other kind of famous namesakes have we had in Scottish? Well, we had Loudrops for a while, but they were kind of... Was it the good Loudrop or the bad Loudrop did we have?
I think it was a good one.
I think it was a good one.
What, Brian Loudrop?
Right, is he the good one?
I can't remember. I don't care. It was an era before me, so.
But I think these guys do a bit of trade off of their brothers' kind of successes and.
Oh yeah, they kind of live off the family name.
Well, I remember Rodney Schneider was a funny one because he disappeared for a number of days.
Yeah,
and I think he just left. He just didn't tell anybody. So that was bizarre. So we'll see. I think they're trialling him at the moment, so we'll see if that happens.
Aye.
In other big news, Kilmarnock manager Lee McCulloch finally bit the dust. I think probably the right decision there. No?
It was a curious one because if I remember correctly, during the close season they were very reluctant to offer him a new deal.
Right.
I'm not sure why, because at the time he had done really quite well. Now, they're only 6 or 7 games into the season. They have an okay squad, very seasoned squad, but it's still there. And I thought McCulloch might have turned it around eventually. But then again, it comes back to the Houston argument as to, people making assumptions based on previous performances and so on and so forth. When in actual fact, the display on the park was bloody rotten.
Yeah.
So I'm reluctant to comment, and it's the same with Partick and Alan Archibald at the moment. Bottom of the league, but you kind of look at his exploits from last season and you think, yeah, he could be good.
But my problem with that is, with the Archibald thing is Archibald, has been there for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Houston had been there for a very long time. Do you start to slip into some bad habits? I think Partick, from their performance at the weekend, certainly looked like they are.
Every chance. I mean, they kind of mirror Falkirk in the sense that they had a very, very good League Cup campaign. They blew St Martin apart. Remember watching that on TV. But then they've had a really poor start to the season as well. And they must wonder as well as what we do as to what the hell happened between then and now.
Well, they lost a lot of their key, I think, defensive players. I think they pretty much lost all their good players over the summer. And they've just been left. I think Blair Spittle's been a shining light, but
I mean, if you're relying on Connor Salmon to get you goals, that's a real issue. But fingers crossed they can pull it out a wee bit, because I quite like them. I think they're...
No, do you?
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Partick.
I think they're in a difficult spot. Being in central Glasgow, it's hard.
Trying to attract fans is an absolute nightmare between them and Queen's Park. It must be brutal.
Oh, why? And they've got a good loyal following, so quite good attendances compared to some.
It's not bad, to be fair.
Yeah. I know quite a few Partick fans, actually, but Kilmarnock sack their manager, Lee McCulloch, and then they bring Steve Clark. Yeah, I was going to call him Stephen, and I thought that sounded weird.
Steve.
That's a pretty good signing.
It's a really good signing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be able to do much, but it's if you're looking for a kind of bit of prestige in your dugout, that's a pretty good. It's probably as good as Kilmarnock could probably do.
Well, I remember I rated him, and it was I think Ray Wilkins, who the assistants team at Chelsea in the Mourinho era.
Yeah.
I rated them massively because I've seen them speak on television before, and just so knowledgeable about the game.
Ray Wilkinson's quality,
How he's not a manager, I don't know.
Well, that's a good question, actually.
Doesn't need the risk in his life.
No, probably quite happy.
Aye.
But it's an interesting move for Steve. I'm convinced he probably could have got a better gig down south.
Could have done. I think Kilmarnock's an interesting one because, you've got all the stuff behind the scenes, but I think there's a good young squad there to really build. And it's a good mix of kind of young, exciting talents and old experienced, which is what you really look for. And I think it's a good mix, and there's definitely potential to be in the upper end of the bottom 6.
Yeah, but 8th or 9th, you would expect them to kind of be.
I do expect them to save themselves. I don't think they'll go down.
Yes, I think there's one or two kind of slip-ups to be had, namely Motherwell, who are running away with it at the moment. Fantastic, but there will come a point where they'll be getting kind of drop down a little. Dundee hit and miss at the moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, I think Motherwell's actually turning into, slowly but surely, quite a good organisation.
They're looking good. It's a fantastic kind of advert for fan ownership at this moment in time.
I think for me last year, I slated them, saying they were kind of holding on to the likes of Louis Moult and things like that. But I think for the benefit of the team, and then they announced just the other day was the manager Stephen Robson until 2020. And that is fantastic.
That's a good deal for him. Managers never last.
Well, no, I think that's a good deal for Motherwell, because with him doing so well, I think it's more likely that someone's going to swoop in and try and take him than him being fired.
At this moment, yes. But you're always looking at next season, because Louis Moult will be out of contract next season. Cadden will probably be sold, and it's who they replace him with. Granted, they know that's going to happen and should be planning the now.
Well, you look at their summer signings. That's pretty much an entirely new team out on the park.
It's they did quite well, very
ridiculously well.
Like Bigger Amana was Premier League experience, not a very good level in Newcastle.
No.
But that kind of player was attracted, and you would give them a lot of credit for that. It's a bit of ambition.
I got a lot of good youngsters. I mean, I think a few of the Scotland under-21s come from Motherwell.
We seen their under-20s last week.
We did, because we're very committed to
Indeed, yes.
we go to all Falkirk's matches, be it first team or development league, contractually obliged. But yeah, we did see the development league team, and it was a very organised outfit.
Yeah, they looked good. Cragen and dugout as well, good man.
Steve Cragen, McManus was there, even the manager.
Aye, the whole kind of backroom staff were there.
Keith Ladsley. I've not seen that from any. Oh no, granted we saw it with St Mirren.
Aye, Jack Ross was there. None of the coaching staff were there.
No, none of the assistants.
That was the whole coaching team were out, so that was good to see. They look quite good. Fuck, I'd be real unlucky, I suppose. We've got our own problems to seek, but
that was with the professional team, no the development league boys.
But they've got a little bit of decent talent coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Could have won a wee bit more if they'd been a bit more direct, but they're only like 17, 18-year-olds, so you can't really judge.
No, you can't grumble. I think there's a lot of potential at Motherwell. They seem to be getting themselves. A lot of people moan at Motherwell saying, "Oh, they're there to prop up the league," but you forget they finished second. I think for 3 or 4 seasons consecutively, second or third, sorry. Mm-hmm. And we're a top team, and it looks like they're getting back to that now. Aye. So very exciting. I guess another managerial change. Owen Coyle coming in at Ross County. So it's nuts. We've now got. If you said 3 or 4 years ago that managing in the Premiership would have been Brendan Rodgers, Owen Coyle, and Steve Clark,
you'd been laughed at the court.
Yeah, you would have gone, what? That's utterly bizarre. Even Neil Lennon at Hibs to an extent, I think you would have been.
He managed down in Bolton.
Yeah,
well, so
you would have been quite surprised at. So the talent's coming back. For better or for worse.
I think it's an attractive prospect because.
Do you?
Yeah, because we're a shop window for England. So if you do well again up here,
that's true.
Chances are you're going to end up back down there.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting watching that Owen Coyle interview today, and I was like, how much less are you getting paid at Ross County compared to at Burnley or at Bolton or wherever it was? So. Very exciting there, and the Premier League's turning round a bit, hopefully. We'll wait and see. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but my final piece of news, Stirling Albion knocked out the Scottish Cup.
Concentrating on the league.
Woof. Hutchison Vale of like the East Lothian
Northern East
Clubman League. West Lothian League?
Oh, they're on the Lothian League.
No, I don't think they are.
In the East Region Super League.
Something like that.
Junior leagues. I thought they were.
I don't believe. The article I read, they weren't listed as a Lowland League team.
I have no idea. That shows you how poor our knowledge is.
Goodness sake, John.
I can.
How do you not know the Lowland and East Lothian Regional Super Cups?
I'm fairly confident I know someone who plays for their women's team.
It might well be. Maybe it just listed their location as East or West Lothian. And I was just getting that confused. But they knocked out Stirling Albion at Stirling 5-3. In what can only be described as a thrilling game.
Indeed.
That I can't tell you anything about because nobody was there. So Stirling Albion, who've kind of marched through League 2 at the moment.
Between them and Stennismuir, kind of storming it. Someone else up there as well.
Stennismuir winning, beating Edinburgh City in that, I think, second round.
Second round
of the Scottish Cup, and County dumped out by East Kilbride. Not really a surprise or a huge upset there, to be honest. East Kilbride, kind of that ilk, and I think the teams have played before, possibly in the kind of playoff game at the end of last season.
They may have done.
But by the by, so very exciting. Into the third round, a few more, I think, League 1, League 2 teams. A few teams in the bottom of the Championship come in as well. So don't think we'll pick it up for a few more rounds.
Folk will get to avoid it.
Right. They didn't. Well, they might not next season, depending on where they finish this season.
They'll be League 1, didn't worry about that.
Well... but no, all very exciting.
Indeed.
So I guess we'll turn our chat towards Scotland. I'm not very enthused to talk about this now, but obviously our national team's exploits. We played, was it Slovakia and then Slovenia? Yes.
Was it that bad you forgot?
Well, I get confused at the best of times, to be honest. They're both so similar. That I didn't actually watch the Slovakia game, but I did see the highlights. And man alive, did we look like a different bunch of players than we have done in in any international games for the last 5 years.
Oh, it was. I had to wind up watching the Slovakia game on Sky Sports Gold Rush, which was a disaster.
Yeah.
Apparently they put the Scotland game on the red button, and you can't get it on Sky Sports Mobile. It was either like Sufferthrough Northern Ireland's game with Germany, which was a meaningless game.
Aye, because they don't have as many channels now, of course. Like, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
all...
It's like football, Premier League, and that's your lot.
And there's like no red button sort of, I don't know, you call it add-on.
There's not a system for the app. Yeah.
On the app, which is just daft.
So we went from that, which looked like a very pacey. It looked like a very inspired.
Oh, they were up for it.
They were fired for
really
it. But they made the fatal mistake is we put ourselves in a position of it was ours to lose.
It was in our hands, which is just a disaster.
And we never. we are We are just like chronically underdogs.
Oh, aye. We perform well when we're underdogs.
Exactly. So we overshot ourselves.
Yes.
And put pressure on ourselves, and it completely went to pot in what was a terrible Slovenia performance.
It was dreadful. They were a really poor performance as well. It wasn't like there was no fight or desire about it, really. They were all plodding about. It was almost they were a great goal. Griffiths was all opener. It was a fantastic kind of strike. And you're like, Christ, we're going to do it. But
I know.
We were sitting so far
But that's
back.
that element of surprise again, isn't it?
But we were sitting so far deep. We were really slow moving forward. Matt Phillips was dreadful.
Really bad.
Barry Bannon just didn't look like a football player.
What on earth is he doing in that team?
I don't know. It was he's hopeless playing plays for Sheffield Wednesday as well. I don't know what he
Well, I
watches.
mean, the big argument swirling around at the moment is that they play, I think, Darren McGregor. I would argue a bit more for maybe John McGinn or something like that, but certainly no Barry Bannon.
No, Barry Bannon's like, talking about genetics, the boy's 5'5". Kid.
Well, don't be talking about genetics now, John.
Aye. What a joke.
That was a bad comment after the game from Strachan.
He got his midfield all wrong. I didn't agree with his kind of putting two up front because it unsettled the balance of the team versus what it was against Slovakia. If you had kept the games in a system, it might have been a different story. But that's by the by.
To be honest,
they should have won it.
I think he has probably got the most out of Scotland in that campaign that he could have. I don't think we deserve to do any better than that.
No, we played them very much to our capability, and we were kind of screwed early on. You can look back on that, but I wouldn't have sacked him, but at the same time, I don't know if I would have wanted him to stay on. And I'm really caught in between.
I would have been incredibly surprised if he hadn't walked away, because I don't see any sense in him continuing at this point. Because again, we're at the end of a generation. Berra's kind of coming to the end.
Thank God.
Mulgrew's kind of, he's not an old man by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of the midfielders, MacArthur feels tired.
Darren Fletcher, he's past it.
God, there was a volley that he just needed to score.
Yeah, but when you compare that to the Slovenian equaliser,
see, you do get confused. It's easy. It's difficult.
He managed to just pass it to the net. Fletcher blazes it over
completely. But Fletcher's been pretty mince going forward.
Yeah, he's not an attacking player.
And the thing is, the fundamental thing I think is our defence. I mean, where we've done well in years gone by is defending sternly and nicking a goal on the break or by blind luck in most instances. And that's where your Kenny Millers, your James McFadden's came in. But, I mean, Charlie Mulgrew, a League One defender. Berra has been dumped out the Championship into the Premiership. These guys are not stellar defenders. And yes, we have, Tierney and Robertson. But you don't win games with fullbacks.
No, especially when you've got a big gaping hole in the middle of that back four.
Yes.
You get the argument about where do you play Tierney? Do you play him right back? Do you shift Robertson up further up the left side? Why not play him as centre back?
Tierney?
Yeah. He does it for Celtic on occasion and looks quite comfortable. It can't be any worse than what we've got.
No.
If you want him, if you play him on the left side of defence, along with Robertson, because Robertson batters up that side anyway.
Well, see, Tierney does that too, and it is what you want from your team. And it is how bad are we defensively as to who.
I mean, in an ideal world, I wouldn't put him the centre back, but if you consider what we have left,
it's not a lot.
It's an option.
It's not a lot. So Strachan obviously went in the middle of the week, and ironically in the SFA's week to is it red card to racism or something like that?
Yep.
We hire Malky Mackay.
Yay!
Chink in the armour, no pun intended. So that's not really a big deal for the moment, because I don't think there's anything going on for the next like 13 months. I think we've played Holland at some point.
I have Pataudry as well.
Aye, so
It's like, who signed up for that?
I don't. Who knows who Holland are even going to turn up with?
Maybe Graham Chanel got a cap.
So that doesn't matter. But names that have been bandied about as potential replacements at this time: David Moyes,
No.
Derek McInnes,
Probably not.
Robbie Nielsen,
Definitely not.
Michael O'Neill,
God, no.
Alec McLeish,
Eh,
Paul Lambert.
that's-
Have we not had McLeish before?
Yeah, and he patched us for I think it was Aston Villa,
Birmingham. One of those two. So I don't. Lambert was touted before.
But when was the last time Lambert was actually in a decent management position?
Quite
As far as I can remember, he was at Blackburn, but it was an absolute. Like,
yeah, they were hitting the
case.
ground. I mean, he did well at Norwich, but then he got sacked there, and then Alex Neil. What's Alex Neil doing now?
I can't remember. He was working for Sky.
He'd be a good. He would have been a good shout for Killie or Ross County actually.
He would.
Anyway, not for the Scotland job.
Oh,
Well, I don't know. So who's your pick? I mean, there's a few more names we could obviously pick out. I think some Italians been looking at it today again.
No.
It seems to be up with all the Scotland jobs right now. Some Italians looking at it.
It's a really awkward one because do you go down the route of do you want a Scotsman in the job or do you want a kind of fresh European outlook? Whoever it is, I feel sorry for them because it's an impossible job.
It's a poison chalice.
I mean, they were talking about Michael Stewart of all people.
Oh no!
Yeah, but no, he made a valid
Put
point.
it in to see him crash and burn.
He actually made a valid point about Jurgen Klinsmann being sacked for the US. However, when you look at how much they've developed over the last 5-10 years, what a job! Like, and he orchestrated it. And if you were giving him the kind of freedom to do it here, he would be the perfect man for the job. And I think he would be quite interested.
He would. He's one of these guys that would certainly preach like a more beautiful football philosophy. I would certainly think.
His biggest problem is he'd be coming against a bunch of old farts.
Yes.
Who live in the dark ages of the 1970s, where Scottish teams were brilliant and ruled Europe. That type of thing. That's the biggest problem. Is we're held up in the past. Like,
well, that's the argument being bandied about a lot in terms of the structure of our league and things.
It's just it's a mess from top to bottom, and they're too feared to change it because you don't know if the grass is really green on the other side.
Or the Astro.
Well, Focus Astro's a mess, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, off topic. But no, if I'm going to put anyone forward, I'd obviously Jurgen Klinsmann.
I think it's a good shout. I mean, for me, this person's probably just going to tide us over until we do get things sorted in terms of. I mean, I've said this for years now. We are at the end of a generation. The whole team needs a clear out. We do need the McGinns, the McGregors, probably the likes of Ryan Christie, and whoever else I've not mentioned.
You're even looking at people like Shinnie.
Probably.
I don't know how old James Forrest is. You certainly want to have Griffiths really embedded in that team.
See, for me, I mean, a lot of people have been arguing that, why didn't he start playing Griffiths earlier in the campaign? I don't think Griffiths was the solution. He's not like a 20 goal a season scorer at the moment.
It was a different option at the time as well, but I don't know if it would have suited our style of play at that moment, because it really was just a lump it to Fletcher.
Yeah.
Who we all know is rubbish.
He's terrible.
But that was the style of football we wanted to play. Griffiths doesn't suit it, as we've seen in the Slovakia game.
I'm just gutted the likes of Moult and stuff isn't Scottish.
Well, somebody said he was a Scottish grandpa.
Oh.
So,
Louis! Get on the phone, come on! Or Kerry, he's not playing at Rangers, so. I know. I don't think Griffiths was the solution for me, but I think. Do you think there's hope for the future in terms of the young players? We see a lot of it going to the development league games week in, week out.
There are two. It's a terrible thing to bring up. It's all about genetics. You look at that, even like we only see the Falkirk Development League.
And anyone else that comes to play them,
on a regular basis. Now, these guys are all about 17, 18.
They look like 14 now.
Yes. They're all really young, really weedy people that, you're not like 6'2", you're not like Oliver Burke. You get a team of Oliver Burks,
yes.
That's
handy.
In an ideal world, that's what we would have.
Well, I did hear the argument, I think as in the Terrace podcast we're talking about, that there has been research and that Celtic nations in particular, lads don't develop until later, as opposed to I think the oceanic countries such as Australia and New Zealand.
Aye, they're big guys when they're like 14, 15 year old.
They'll be 6 foot and built by the time they leave school. So we're still training these lads up, and they're not
that development.
They're not fully formed, know. So it's it's tricky, but that shouldn't be an excuse, at the same merit. Because when we talk about Celtic nations, of course, we're still talking about England, we're still talking about Ireland.
Iceland.
Who, aye, exactly, who are still...
Norway look to have a decent under-20s team, just going by their kind of results. The kind of younger guys coming in there. Sweden look unbelievable.
Yeah. Sweden have just landed on their feet. The guys just kind of dispersed across Europe, and there's some cracking players.
Oh, fantastic. And
Emil Forsberg is amazing.
I do wonder if that's also to do with they're picking up, like, when they come back as a squad, as a national squad, they're picking up ideas from all over Europe about how they play and stuff like that. All our guys end up in England where it's all just, if you're athletic and you can, like, punt a ball 40 yards, you can get a game. There's no technical ability involved, and you need technical ability on the international stage. That's why England struggle, in my opinion.
Well, England are kind of shooting themselves in the foot in that you look at all the top players in England. You look at that Man City team right now.
It's just for international.
No, why?
Foreign players, foreign international.
The only top England players right now for me would probably be Dele Alli and Harry Kane.
Yeah, both play the same team.
But then their under-21 side comprehensively pumped us in Middlesbrough. So,
but they'll be brought in too early to the national team. They'll not get enough game time in the actual club teams. I mean, the only way with Marcus Rashford and Lingard at the moment are the two that are getting regular game time.
Well, I think it was Tammy Abraham was the main.
Tammy Abraham as well.
It was interesting that the stats is like, I think the under-19s, you either played in the Premiership or League One. There was no Championship players, which I thought was a really strange stat there. Our under-21 team, it's alright, but like...
It's hard to tell if it's going to be an improvement or not.
It's probably not. Did we not get to the final as like the under-17 World Championships like a couple of years back?
But I mean, most of those guys never really made it as well.
But I guess, coming back to your Sweden point a bit, is some of those guys will have grown up with Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
As an idol, yes.
But don't you think that inspires the best athletes maybe towards football over other sports, for example?
It would inspire you to go out and learn all the tricks and flicks that Ibrahimovic would do. We don't really have that.
Well, but is that...
Because
in Scotland,
it's
football...
It's a talisman. You can kind of point at him and go, you can achieve this. If you're Swedish, you can achieve greatness,
Exactly. It's the inspiration, it's that idol, but would you say that the decline in Scottish football over the last 10 years has led to a gap in skills, essentially?
Perhaps. I think kids are more encouraged to do other sports as well. Maybe they're detracting away from just playing football.
But we're terrible at everything. So.
We are terrible, well, apart from tennis, but...
No, there's one guy that's good at tennis, and that's because his mother whipped him every day for 16 years.
His brother wasn't as good, so...
Still plays with some hot doubles partners, though. Fair play.
Nah. Lucky guy.
His next tournament will win the men's doubles, and I'm just going to be like, sorry, Jamie, not passing comment.
But even Scotland rugby team's not too bad. They're the decent Six Nations, for example.
Yeah. But
again, big guys, 6'4".
Yeah, I know.
Built like barn doors.
Get them into...
Just put them in the Scotland football team. Who cares what happens?
Cross. Let's just exchange.
Top throw-ins, by the way.
That would be good. The long throw, I think, is it's an art that's slowly but surely disappearing, and it's very effective.
Yeah.
One thing I was furious at Muirhead at the weekend, by the way. But anywho, so all hopeless as usual. And I think the biggest slap in the face was when they announced the European International Friendly Cup, which is not what it's called.
But the European Nations
something like that, and we were dropped into Pot C.
Yes, with Azerbaijan.
Below, yeah, absolutely all of the home nations in with. I think there is a Pot D, isn't there?
There's one below for the likes of Kosovo and Faroe Islands.
With Gibraltar and all that jazz. So that was a slap in the face. And then Slovakia didn't even qualify for the playoffs because they didn't have enough points.
That was quite funny though.
Would we have qualified then?
Yes.
Okay, so if we did
point.
So who would we have punted? Doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter.
I think it would have been Wales on Republic.
Oh, doesn't even matter. If they get there, I'm done. Absolutely done.
Fair enough.
Anyway, to our domestic league,
Hooray.
Which is now completely pointless because of our, international failure. Couple of results. Celtic narrowly squeezed by Dundee 1-0. Yeah, pretty much dominated the game. Dundee could have equalised late on, but no luck there. Are they? Who's there? Oh, Neil McCann. Sorry, totally
That
forgot.
one.
I was looking at that because obviously Paul Hartley, former Dundee manager, taking the Falkirk job, and Dundee do look head and shoulders better than Falkirk. So
Yeah.
he's got a difficult task on his hands. I thought Dundee were a bit unlucky, but Celtic were resting quite a lot of players for this Bayern fixture midweek. I don't know why, because if I were them, I would just lie down. There's no point.
It's as glamorous ties go. That's probably quite a big one.
I mean, over there at the Allianz Arena with and now newly reinvigorated under new old manager Jupp Heynckes.
Yep.
Who's come back. Sounds like a Dutchman, but I believe is German.
Yeah, he's German. Yep.
Borussia Mönchengladbach legend, who I think managed them to probably their best spell in recent memory.
Well, they kind of knocked Dortmund back off their perch, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Champions League final.
But it's still a relatively similar squad.
It's not great. I think Ribery's out, injured long term.
But they've still got loads of.
Robin, I think, was pretty mid. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they have more than enough to beat Celtic.
Aye.
You got to kind of catch them on an off day. But
a very off day.
back four looks solid. Keepers are made.
We'll see how it goes. If they're 3-0 down by half time, then
Aye, early night.
There's not much they can do. We wish them all the best, and then they will come back to play a Scottish League Cup semi at the weekend against Hibernian.
Yep, that's a tough.
This is when Hibernian could get them, John.
I'm telling you, Hibs will be the first team to beat them.
Well, speaking of Hibs, they lost out to Aberdeen 1-0 at the weekend in front of the Easter Road. 19,000 people.
I was going to say, they've near 20,000 crowd.
Aye. So very impressive there. Gary Mackay-Stephen suddenly has dried off his feet from his dip in the river. And he looked fantastic, actually. He's maybe found a bit more fitness, a bit more sharpness.
Aye, the fear of God's probably been put into him. So.
Quite possibly. I think he was saying McInnes was quite supportive. And that was the other thing about McInnes possibly taking the Scotland job, is he would do it in tandem with the Aberdeen job. And you're going...
That's a tough gig.
Well, like, how do you not pick your players for the national team? So that was a thing. And then Arneson obviously played absolute rocket defence. They've given up on their other defenders.
Good.
So I think it was Arneson and the young lad McKenna who played for the under-21s. Looks much, much better than O'Connor, who never gives a goal away. I hate that chant because it doesn't make any sense.
No, he always gives a goal
He's
away.
a terrible defender, exactly. Although his rating went up in FIFA. Who on earth watches it? For Hibs, on the other hand, I think John McGinn's a bit of a one-man army in there at the moment.
I'm quite surprised. I thought they'd been doing a little bit better than they are.
They weren't playing badly. They just couldn't finish.
I've been hearing that.
Stokes wasn't up to... And God, see Martin Boyle.
Hopeless.
Ugh. He's a shonky. I don't know, he's a bit meh. And I'm thinking, is he much better than James Keating was?
Both of them are very kind of bang average.
Yeah.
Bottom of the Premiership players.
Yeah. I think that's costing them right now, because without goals from the midfield, they don't really have anything.
It's a work in progress. I think they're beginning to realise this.
It is a work in progress. Well, it's a kind of rounded team, though. There's a lot there to work with. I think they were probably a draw at best, but just not that final third finishing for them. And it's now quite a bad run they're on, so they're slumping a bit.
They'll come back though, they always do.
Oh, I mean the other teams in the Premiership as well. I think the only other game we've not talked about is Ross County Hearts. Ross County 1, Hearts 2. Ross County on a bit of a bad run, and Hearts still plodding away on a very nomadic experience.
It's very kind of... They're scraping by. It's really weird.
Yeah, I know. I think that's their third 2-1 victory in as many weeks.
Because they've got Rangers 2 weeks.
I think St Johnstone at home, inverted commas, next week. And then Rangers...
They've got Rangers this Saturday coming up.
Sure it's not St Johnstone?
Yes.
Pretty sure it's St Johnstone.
Because I looked at it, because I'm away... This is personal.
No,
I'm in Newcastle one weekend and then I'm away on holiday the following weekend, because I would have missed effectively both games if I wanted to go. Because Rangers have sold 14,500 tickets.
Yeah, did they not get an allocation of 20? They got a really big allocation.
They were getting 12 and then they managed to extend out to 14.5 and sold all of it.
I think they might get up to 20.
And they might give them more, because if it's the same section we're in, they could give them the whole of the kind of corners as well.
Well, I thought they'd literally just move them to one of the main stands or something like.
Nah, they'll be in the end stand. That end stand holds an absolute. Because there was 7,000 Aberdeen fans and you've seen the gaps, especially in the top tier.
Aye,
that'll be filled all the way around.
Around the corner. Well, that'll be an interesting fixture.
That'll be bouncing. I'd hate to be a postman that day.
I know.
Or a tram driver.
That will be an actual nightmare, by the way.
Yeah.
So Hearts still plodding away. Levine seems to have actually rectified things.
Leadership.
Pains me to say it. Coyle still with work to do. I've not really actually seen much improvement from them since he's arrived.
I was hearing that they've been very defensive and negative.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
it's not looking good.
Maybe we dodged a bullet there in Falkirk.
I know. Partick losing again. They've yet to win this season still. And we touched on it a bit earlier. And it was Adam Frizzell got an absolute screamer for Kilmarnock to set them on their way to a 2-0 victory. Save them a little bit there. And then, of course, the televised game of the weekend. You see it at all? Rangers.
I watched most of it. It was a pretty dismal game, if I'm honest.
In my opinion.
So Johnston were our team lacking a decent striker.
Oh, aye.
They had their chances, but you always felt they were a wee bit too shy. Really, was the kind of word I was looking for. Like,
they're too polite.
Maybe they were getting too much respect, I think would be the best.
Probably a bit intimidated by the occasion.
Well, when you've got so many
thousand
Rangers fans.
Stephen Anderson kind of ruined it for them in that I thought he could have defended the first goal much better.
Yes.
Because it was a missed header that led it through to Pena, and then he got himself sent off. With what?
The game was kind of gone by that stage.
Well, no, it was only 1-0, was it not?
The Rangers were so far on top, it's unreal.
Well,
like I say, St Johnstone kind of just down tools a wee bit. It was a very lacklustre performance. They would get to a certain point up the park and then they would just kind of stop and you're like, keep going, that Rangers defence isn't great. Like, something would be more kind of directness, a decent kind of ball into the box and a decent striker. They would have given
a lot of things you're asking for in a Scottish professional team. I think
you
that
just felt a better team would have got a much better result out against Rangers.
The thing is, though, that could be a 6-pointer, come the end of the season.
For top four, absolutely.
Because, St Johnstone were starting to push Rangers later on last season. And yes, it was all kind of sewn up. They were kind of in cruise. But St Johnstone very nearly did catch them, so they'll be disappointed to let them kind of escape a little bit more. So it looks to be a 3-horse race now between Celtic, Aberdeen, Rangers for those 3 spots.
Yeah, a little bit.
Aberdeen now play Celtic in 10 days' time.
What's on TV?
Yes, I think it'll be a midweek fixture.
So Tuesday night. Deadly.
Make or break. It's going to be good. It's going to be a big game
because it's the Hearts Hibs on the Wednesday night as well.
So it's a big week next week.
During the week, that's going to be quality because you got the League Cup semi-finals and then you got those games in the following week.
I'm looking forward to it.
Scottish football's exciting.
Alright, Camden. It can be.
These games are interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd much rather watch that than the kind of guff that Sky sometimes give you.
Oh, that's another thing. See, all of last week, Liverpool-Manchester United derby. There was programme, and do you know what? Credit to you, Sky Sports. Very interesting programmes. Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, they're all sitting there all about Anfield, building up, the whole week of build-up. The game was utter garbage.
Horrendous. I watched 5 minutes and turned it off.
So bad. And then on BT Sport, not an ounce of build-up for Watford Arsenal. Infinitely more interesting game. I also saw, I think Chris Sutton gave a stat that 1 million people turned off in that England-Slovakia game last week.
I'm not surprised. I did watch some of that as well.
So
it was murder.
It's not a good week for English football on the telly. That's for sure. So that was interesting. So I hope Aberdeen give the same display they had done in the Scottish Cup final last year. And hopefully with Gary Mackay-Steven, but at the end of the day they're Celtic kind of B squad players, aren't they?
Is he on loan or is he a permanent?
He's permanent.
Right,
Christie's on loan.
Right, so Christie may or may not play.
I think Christie will play. I don't think there's any rules of that kind because UEFA and things generally tend to quash that now.
I'd try their best not to. But I mean, O'Halloran was in the stands against Rangers on Friday night.
Really?
So, yeah, I think it's case by case.
I think it's how much money you have to give them. Because there was that thing with Courtois years ago playing for Atletico against Chelsea.
Aye.
And that was quashed, but of course that's a bigger decision than Michael O'Halloran. Michael O'Halloran's not going to be a Rangers player, so what's the point in...
I didn't get that.
I don't like that sort of behaviour. It's a bit silly. So we look forward to that. That Hearts Hibs derby is going to be interesting. I couldn't pinpoint you.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be a tight one.
It's going to be good. I think it's at Tynecastle as well, if I remember right. I could be wrong.
I wish I was press and got into all these games. Wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge.
If anyone fancies it. So there we go. I think that rounds off our Premiership coverage. And on to Scotland's second best division.
If you want to call it that.
The Scottish Championship. So, big story this weekend was Paul Hartley.
First game.
PH, same initials as another Falkirk manager. They don't have to go far in the directory there.
Plus 7.
Aye. His first game at Inverness. How do you think things went, John?
It was a pretty dismal game. By all
bad game.
Oh, jeez.
If you think Premiership fans, you've got it bad watching what you watch week in, week out, you should try coming along to one of these Championship games.
Oh, dear. There's no point. There's just awful football. Really? Oh, you don't even know where to begin because there is no beginning.
I mean, the major problem with Championship football for me is the ball is in the air a lot of the time, and it is head to head to head to head for spells.
Down the channel to a guy who's not quick enough to catch it,
who can't cross the ball.
Who, if he does get the ball, can't cross it. The fullback normally sweeps up. Then he punts it down the channel to a player who can't reach it. The midfields are totally and utterly anonymous. Like, they just don't exist.
Oh, this is mainly the Falkirk team.
Both.
Well, I thought
Inverness looked okay, but they had John Baird up front, and who I can't remember the last time he actually scored.
But did Jason harass? They were very unlucky. Hit the post and the back of the net, which I was convinced had gone in.
I don't know how. It was miles away.
Did you think it had gone in though?
Nah.
It looked to me.
Right behind it.
It looked to me as if it had gone in. The Inverness fans, who were weirdly alongside it at the end of the stand, thought it had gone in, which I thought was bizarre. And I'm pretty sure they should have had a penalty.
I haven't seen this yet.
The Mulrenny incident at the end of the second... Well, he came off, so towards the end of the second half.
I've never seen it. There was one or two flashpoints, I think it was frustration more than anything else, particularly with, I think it was Hippolyte, the kind of square go.
Oh, the one that the ref nor the linesman flagged until about 5 minutes into the altercation.
They just kind of let it go. It took Austin to break it up. And even then, I think the ref gave a fill for Inverness. It was a drop ball.
They brought the ball back for a free kick. I was like, the ball was miles away.
The ball was in the far corner.
At the time. I'm really having a problem at the moment with like linesmen and referees no calling stuff quickly enough.
They're hopeless.
And we saw that at the Development League game midweek with Lorna, whatever her name was.
I don't know, I forgot the team sheet.
Female referee, that must have been her first game because...
She'll be a bit nervous.
Aye.
Oh, to be fair, it must be quite intimidating because it's just like 100 guys sitting in a main stand, dead silent.
Do you know what? Why did you give up your time to be absolutely roasted by like...
some like old guy in the stand?
Yeah, 75 people at a Development League game giving you abuse. I honestly don't understand that either because...
It takes a special kind of mentality for that one.
How can you care? Well, not how can you care. I mean, it's nice to see when the goals go in and stuff, but don't be swearing at the ref every time a bad decision. You know,
they are hopeless, but they're learning,
developing. You know,
they're in the development league as well. When you think about it,
you know, howl at the primary two kids for
If for being Craig Thompson, you could have ran on the park and 2-footed them. I would have accepted that.
Well, Chris Sutton was. Oh no, Cragen was there. So Cragen
was there.
Cragen could have done. Oh, that was one thing though. If you were in that Motherwell team and made a mistake, he ripped you a new one.
Aye,
and you could hear everyone very clearly from the side of the park as to who he was taking on. Aye. For me, it was quite good to see Hartley seems to have brought in a new regime. There was cones out on the park before kick-off.
They were really into it.
They had all these like harnesses that they were. There was equipment.
Somebody's been out with the checkbook.
I know.
I think we found our culprit for this.
Who nicked the Hamilton money? Hartley comes in. I've got a few demands. I know where we'll get this from.
I need a hacker. I need a Swiss bank account.
They don't deserve to be in the Premier League. We shall merely take their money and relegate them.
Indeed.
Well, we'll say no more on that. Our mouths are super sealed. As Rob McLean was saying on the commentary today. So I think that was the one thing that was missing, was a bit of professionalism. Because I remember when Livingston rocked up, they had a very specific training routine. Falkirk, I remember when we used to play football at school, we used to warm up by just crossing the ball and...
Aye, who's taking the corners?
Aye. and we never did cross or get any corners, but this was what we practiced. And it looked akin to something like that. It was how Falkirk were warming up. So that was much better. The start was much, much better.
First half was actually not bad, to be fair. It was way more kind of impetus about their attack. They just seemed to kind of run out of ideas and resorted back to the kind of
their old selves.
Tried and tested, put it up the park and see what happened.
I think once they ran out of Hartley's ideas and were left to their own devices, we discovered who they really were.
Yeah, all hopeless.
But yeah, I mean, that first half they did look much more like a competitive football team, and one that we should be watching week in, week out. Because, watching the highlights today, the 2-1 scorelines, these teams were competing, they were getting goals. We've not been seeing that. It's been 0-0s, it's been 2-0s, it's just been nils. They
just lack a little bit more going forward. I do think they've got the back four settled a little bit better. It looked okay.
I must commend especially Conrad Ballatoni, who I was very sceptical about.
Ballatoni and McGee have came in, and what a revelation compared to what we had at the time. There's no second guesses for why Paul Watson suddenly disappeared, and Gasparot is still making mistakes in the
development league, who Watson's not even playing for.
No.
But then you look at the squad, and this is one of the major criticisms is for centre backs, for central midfielders, 2 wingers up front.
Yes.
It's
how does that work?
Yeah, how do you put that in a formation? And I know Hartley's kind of stuck with what he's got.
Yeah, that's his issue.
My major criticism of the weekend was Kerr was horrendous.
He was exposed compared to what he was against Dunfermline the previous week.
Yes.
It looked as though he had McKee and Taiwo kind of covering him. Yeah. So it was like 3 in the midfield.
See, when Taiwo came off,
we crumbled. That's what I'm saying. Taiwo's about our only decent player, or he keeps the squad together.
He's a kind of silent hero. I've never really rated him, but
you see the difference when he's not in the park.
Absolutely.
And he's very underrated in that regard. We were so bereft of any idea as to how to attack. It was frightening. I think even Hartley nearly had an aneurysm.
That was the thing. I kept turning back to the dugout and touching his head, and this doesn't really work on an audio podcast. His voice was gone after about 10 minutes each.
I had to keep watching though, because it was like every time Muirhead had the ball, it was like he would take a touch, and then you could hear Hartley screaming at him to just boot it along. Take another touch, and then Hartley had several heart attacks. But
he kept saying that to the keeper as well. Quickly, and he's like, "Oh!"
I was like, "Well, what do I do?"
What is this quick? What's this fast-paced football you're trying to play?
They were so hesitant and had no idea what to do.
Interestingly, Mr. Rory Loy in the stands.
Was he? Is he injured?
Don't think so.
Not surprised.
I mean, he was a Dundee player up until the end of the summer. So
I mean, I keep hearing different things.
Is he soup du jour with Hartley?
Is he injured? Yes or no? I heard he had an illness, but I don't know if that's true or not. Sibbs has suddenly disappeared. Austin's fell at the team.
Well, Austin did come on.
Austin's disappeared. That's a bad thing.
No, I mean towards I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, we have to now commend the kind of interim manager, Alex Smith.
Oh, what a job!
But that was never going to work long term, I don't think.
Nah, he's not got the appetite for it.
And it was a patch fix. He just kind of put in the best players in the best positions and went, right. You can't really do that. It's never going to be sustained. So, yeah, Hartley's got a job on his hands, but he certainly looks to be bringing a different atmosphere.
He's got to. It's actually quite interesting when you bring up the Alex Smith thing. You always got the impression they were playing for him.
Yeah.
A little bit more, especially the Dunfermline game. The performance wasn't great. Dunfermline were weakened, so you can't.
Dunfermline were horrific.
They were horrific, but they were down their 2 sort of starter centre backs, so you can't compare it as such. But you always got the impression they were kind of playing for the manager a wee bit. Houston, they just couldn't care less. And I think Hartley, they're feeling their way into him.
Yeah,
There's
is this the new training regime?
Well, whatever works, I suppose. They're kind of sounding each other out.
Yeah, I think he'll bring. I mean, Hartley was a player that played at quite a high footballing level for some quite good teams. So I think certainly new ideas, and that'll take a while to get hold. I was optimistic. I really thought, if they won at the weekend, right, we're on for the promotion campaign.
You hear the juggernaut firing up.
But then, with the way other results, Livingston beating Dundee United, actually, sensational.
In the league.
Is it Nikolai Chodorov that plays for them?
I
hope they get him from Hearts. He's doing a job. So Livingston are just continuing their stellar season. I think up to second, behind St Mirren, who got a victory against Dumbarton. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2-1.
So St Mirren are storming the league. If St Mirren go up, I mean, Falkirk could be feeling absolutely rotten because that is a very, very similar club.
Yes, I think, most of the kind of championship teams that are of a similar size, they are though. Us, St Mirren, Dunfermline.
But Falkirk have been at it for longer.
We have, and I think that's a damning indictment on the board. I'm not going to go into it.
See, the thing is, we say the same thing week in
It's
and
over
week
and
out.
over again. It's
Hopefully, we get to say more positives as we go by. They play St Mirren this weekend.
Yep.
In what is now quite a big tie for
they'll
us. Probably not for them
as well.
So
they'll fill that stand.
Yeah, I kind of almost don't want to take points off them.
As long as it's still Dunfermline in the league, I don't mind.
They're on top now with 21. There's a bit of clean air between them and Livingston.
And Dundee United as well, who keep kind of one good result, 2 bad results.
Keep faltering. Dunfermline as well. I mean, looking at how they were against Falkirk Ironbrew Cup, looked pretty mince.
Yeah,
they got a draw against. Who did they play the weekend?
Queen of the South, I think.
Queen of the South again are kind of slipping back themselves, and then it's left to.
They're left with the Morton type.
Inverness, Falkirk, Morton, Brecon to fight out for the
bottom half.
Pretty much.
It's not great, but
pretty dismal. Meanwhile, League One, Wraith are storming out at the moment, I believe.
Aye.
Ayr
are doing okay.
Alloa 9th.
I'm quite surprised by that.
Yeah.
I had to kind of look at that a wee bit. But
maybe they kind of got the sucker punch for not going up last season, which was fully expected of them.
A little bit. Like Stranraer, I think, struggling at the bottom of that league as well. It's like there's 5 teams that begin with A. That's the only really thing I've noticed.
Moving on. Thank you, John.
Can you name all 5?
The quiz for this week. Name the 5 teams. Right, okay, I'll tell you what. Arbroath.
Yep.
In League One.
Yes.
Alloa.
Yep.
Annan aren't in League One, are they?
Nope.
So not Annan. Airdrieonians.
Yep.
Airdrieonians. Albion Rovers.
Yep.
So there's one more.
I hope.
So Airdrieonians, Ayr United, Alloa, Albion Rovers, and
I think there's a 5th.
You're not sure. You're really not sure.
I have me doubt myself, and I don't like that.
Annan, ding, ding, ding.
I don't think it was Annan.
Annan, Ayr, Stirling, Albion are not. They're in League 2. So who could it be? Beginning with A, places. In League 1.
Sure there is.
Beginning with A, so not Annan.
Well, there is 5.
Where did they... Give me a location.
Right.
Roughly. East or west of Scotland.
I've already struggled as to what you've said and not said.
Airdrieonians.
Yep.
Ayr United.
Yep.
This is great podcast listening.
Superb.
Because we've been through this 3 times. Just give us the 5.
Our 4 listeners have disappeared.
Give us the 5. We've been through it 3 times in a row.
You got Ayr, Albion, Arbroath, Airdrie and Alloa.
Was that 5?
That was 5.
We've actually said all of those, but I've only counted 4.
Oh,
I think I forgot about Arbroath.
Maybe.
I forgot about Arbroath.
Okay.
Oh dear goodness. Right, anyway.
Sorry, lads.
On to our actual quiz for this week.
Fair enough.
That is our... that rounds off our terrible...
This is just asking me stuff now.
Very much. Well, aye, yeah. Hashtag just the 2 of us. Aye. Am I going to play music? Let's play music.
Let's play music.
Cool. So this week, celebrating the release of FIFA 18 as we do every year, I've got some statistics to quiz you on, John.
Cool.
So, who are the 3 fastest players in the SPFL, according to FIFA statistics?
The SPFL? Oh, what?
Well, the Scottish Premiership, sorry.
Sinclair.
Correct. 91 pace, 77 overall.
91 pace?
91 pace. Second fastest in the league.
Who's quicker than him?
Oh, that's for you to guess.
Whoa.
Ding, 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 ding. Give me another name.
Griffiths.
Wrong answer.
Forrest.
Yes, third fastest in the league, 91 pace, 74 overall rated.
So who's quicker than Sinclair?
Wasn't he on the park at the weekend?
Does he play for Celtic though?
Nope.
He does play for Celtic.
Sitting in the stand.
O'Halloran?
O'Halloran.
O'Halloran is the fastest player. You're talking nice.
93 pace.
No way.
66 overall. So, who's got the highest physical? Right, good luck with this. Who's got the highest physical stats? One of them's quite obvious. Defender. Best defender statistically in the league.
Play for Celtic as well then.
No. Rangers.
Oh, Bruno Alves.
Bruno
Alves will be
Alves,
the strongest.
85-78. Right, I'm going to give you some clues.
Okay.
You might catch this when fishing. What type of fish? Come on.
Trout. Salmon.
Trout? Who's Trout in the SPF? Anyone named Trout and you play Scottish professional football, give us a shout. Yep. Salmon.
Connor Salmon.
He's got the third highest physical. 84. 65 overall. Right. The top physical in the league.
So it has to be
And
more.
I wouldn't call them curtains, but I might call them
Oh, Draper?
Draper. Ross Draper. 85 physical. I would not have expected you to guess
He
that.
played for Ross County.
Yes. Former Inverness man.
Jesus.
So now we go to the slowest in the league.
Kirk Broadfoot.
Nope.
No?
You're close with Kirk Broadfoot though.
Your spot.
No.
Boyd.
No. You're in the right team, but you've named all the wrong folk.
Who else is really slow to come on it?
Who might play alongside Broadfoot? Top. Fifth.
Oh, the name's on the tip of my tongue.
Gordon
Greer.
Gordon Greer. 30 pace, 67 overall. The other two are centre backs, I'll tell you. For different teams.
30 pace.
The top guy's got 23.
Wow. Who's even slower than that?
Well, I'll tell you, the guy with the slowest pace was able to outrun Stevie May
In the weekend.
when we saw him.
Also play for Hearts.
Mm.
The Irish guy.
Oh.
The Irish guy.
Oh.
Was it Aaron Hughes?
Aaron
Is that his
Hughes.
name?
23 pace, 71 overall. The other man actually has the highest FIFA rating card in the SPF.
Ooh, Carrie Anderson.
Carly Anderson. 30 pace, 70 overall. Now got a 78.
His pace is 32 now.
Yes. Next question. Team with the most potential. So what I did was I looked at the first page of the highest potential players in the SPFL and picked out, apart from Celtic, because it's obviously Celtic, which one has the best potential.
It'd probably be Rangers.
No.
Is it not? Aberdeen then?
No. You'll be amazed by this. Kelly.
Oh dear.
Kelly had like 5 players that have got like a potential of 74 or more.
That's curious. We feel youngsters. That's
Yeah, fully good youngsters. So, last question. Who's got the best skill moves in the Scottish Premiership? There are 2 players in the league with 4-star. Everyone else has 3 or less.
Sinclair will be one of them as
Nope.
well. Really?
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised.
We've actually mentioned both of these players in this programme tonight.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, that doesn't help at all.
Aloha, Arbroath.
Albion?
Have we mentioned 5? I only remember 4. Oh yeah, we did mention 5.
Mentioned both of them already, so it can't be Christie.
Nope.
Forrest?
Nope.
Griffiths?
No.
Nah, it'd be terrible.
I think too high here.
O'Halloran?
Nope. Similar player.
Who else have we mentioned?
One of them's Aberdeen, one of them's Hamilton.
Mackay Stephen?
Yep. GMS, 4-star.
And in Hamilton?
Tricky winger.
Did Hamilton have a tricky winger? The only one I can even remotely think of is Templeton.
Templeton.
Templeton has a...
4-star skill rating.
Who is watching this?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, some of it. I mean,
That's...
O'Halloran is quite fast, to be fair.
They're not 97 fast.
93.
93 fast.
It can't be our
Right.
Jets.
So that's quicker than Aubameyang.
No.
Yeah.
No. Aubameyang's got a 97, hasn't he?
Aye, in the inform.
Alright.
I'm sure his base card's like
Alright.
less than that.
I don't know. Right in on a postcard. Because it's the 3 fastest players are Aubameyang, Bale, and Mane, is it not?
Aye, Mane's got like 94.
Yeah. So O'Halloran's
He's roasting.
in there mixing it with the best.
Atsu's going 92. This
What,
way,
Newcastle Atsu?
yeah, 92 pace.
Well.
Yeah, I think his acceleration's terrible, but
How's that make any sense?
I don't know. If you start him at one corner and you run to the other corner, apparently
he keeps going. It's like space. You just continue accelerating. So that rounds off our quiz this week. That was quite good fun, actually. Did all right there. So I guess to round us off, John, it's going to be predictions from just the two of us, isn't it?
It will, unfortunately, aye.
You have any idea what game you picked? He's got no idea.
I'm prepared.
The one thing I got you to do. Is it going to be all the teams beginning with A in the League One fixtures?
It's all the teams in League 2, actually.
Oh, League 2.
Or the Highland and Lowland League, whatever you fancy.
Oh, right, we'll pick any.
No, the natural ones are the two League Cup semi-finals.
Oh, of course. So
we've got Rangers versus Motherwell, which I think is the first game.
Alright.
I can't remember if they're the first or the second.
It'll be the first, because Celtic play with Champions League midweek, so they'll have to play it on the Sunday.
Because it's a 12:15 kick-off, I'm sure.
Right.
And then the Hibs game, Celtic Hibs, is at 2 o'clock, if I remember right. But anyway,
there we go.
I'm going off topic.
So the Rangers game.
Yep.
2-1 Rangers. Because Motherwell just haven't shown it to them, especially in those early games this season.
I want a cup upset. I'm going for 0-1 to Motherwell. Vote to score.
Well, we'll see. Celtic Hibs.
Celtic Hibs is the next one.
Oh my goodness. Good grief. See, it's so difficult because they're playing Bayern midweek and they give that their absolute everything. And this game borderline completely doesn't matter, so I think Hibs 3-2. I think it's going to be a bonkers game.
I mean, it could be. Its biggest problem is it kicks off so early and that always ruins a game.
Yeah.
No, I think Celtic will scrape past 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I think they'll just about make it.
Good.
Third one is Falkirk versus St Mirren, which is a pretty tasty game if I say so myself.
Are you joking?
It could be good. I'm just glad I'm not going.
1-0 St Mirren.
1-0 St Mirren. I think it'll be more than that.
You think? Give us it.
2-1 to Falkirk. Just
scoring goals. You alright, mate?
I don't know who it'll be. An own goal. No luck.
It'll be either an own goal or a complete blind mistake.
Well, there's always that. I don't know what to go for the next one, actually. I had a few choices.
Well, you run through that, pal.
Well.
Meanwhile, I'll recite every team in Scotland beginning with A.
All 42 now.
Aberdeen. Annan. Ardrossan Juniors.
You've already mentioned like 5 of them all day.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of the other ones.
Right. Anyway.
Ayr United. They're in League One.
I'll give you a H and a J. So it's Hearts versus...
Am I now to guess?
Hearts versus St Johnstone. Come on.
Is that a J? Is that not an S?
St J. You're the only team in Britain with a J in their name.
Yeah, haven't we had this conversation at a pub several times?
I can't remember. No, that's like if you're trying to do the alphabet.
It's one of the ones that always like scuppers you when you're trying to figure out.
We do the alphabet games.
Yeah, team in Britain. 2-1 Hearts, because that just seems to be their score right now. What are you saying?
I would tend to agree with you, which is really annoying.
I'll just go with it.
I would agree.
Cool.
And the last one is Dunfermline versus Livingston.
An absolute crapshoot this. I'm going to let you go first here.
I'm going to go for Livingston to win 1-0.
I mean, fair play on the form they're on, but 1-1.
It's a tough one.
1-1. So they're very rarely draws.
Especially in the league.
Very rarely draws. See, that's the problem. Like we were talking earlier about, off air about the Premiership is very much teams that win and teams that lose. There's not very much in between. I think at the moment just the winning teams are playing the losing teams and the losing teams aren't getting to play each other. The Championship is very much
just a free for all.
Yeah. You never know.
There's like 8 teams that are all of a similar size, and you've got Dumbarton and Brecon, who, granted Dumbarton fight above their weight, but
yeah, Dumbarton can kind of keep going. Brecon are very much the constant. We know done.
That already.
If things are bad, you always know there's Brecon.
Yes.
Is basically the punt of that.
You won't get automatically relegated this season. That's a given.
Yes. You might be in the playoff. I tell you, it must be pretty poor being an Inverness fan right now.
There was like 104 of them.
That's fairly decent, I would say.
Yeah, I'm just glad we never opened the North Stand for them.
Well, it wasn't worth it. The attendance wasn't that great.
4,000 of them.
But they're having a pretty rotten season. And again, watching that Ross County game today, it's like, that is nuts. That, you know, a place like Dingwall has a Premiership team and the city of Inverness doesn't.
Aye, absolutely.
Hashtag buy the franchise.
Amalgamation.
Just switch them. Ross County, Championship team. Inverness are kind of too new, I think, to, you know.
So Ross County. Ross County are...
Well, they were a Highland League team for forever.
Thistle.
Well, what was it? Cali Thistle.
There was Inverness, there was Cali, and there was Thistle. And then
there once was a long time ago. ICT.
I can't remember how it worked. It was Inverness and Thistle amalgamated, and then Cali was then amalgamated into that.
I remember
because that caused a big riot.
It was in that Scottish football documentary they had years ago. They showed lots of very angry people walking about out of these meetings.
Farmers and things.
Well, yeah, the biggest glasses you've ever seen in your life were these like flat caps, and not like, you know, Green Street flat caps.
We're not talking like this isn't the Peaky Blinders.
No, very much not. You know, these were people that would come and kill you with a combine harvester.
Yep.
Yeah, it was little. I still need to buy my Inverness kit actually. After losing my bet last year saying that Inverness would finish in the top 6.
I actually said they would get relegated as well.
And they did get relegated. The kit was actually quite smart, but it's £45 though. I'll have to hold off a few more paychecks before that happens. But, anyway, I think that rounds us off.
Indeed.
So thank you very much for joining us tonight, John.
Cheers.
And thank you very much for listening to myself, Paul. We will bring you all the teams in the Championship, beginning with B next week.
There's only one.
Is there?
Yeah.
Who?
Wigan.
Oh. Nah.
See, I'm on the ball.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay. All the teams in Scotland beginning with C, in which case. So thank you very much for listening. And have a good evening, afternoon, or morning.
Well played, yeah.
See you later. Bye.